Once upon a time. Back in the swinging 60s, 1969 to be exact, a young man named Ray found himself at the Lee Bridge Road Synagogue Youth Club. A friend introduced him to a young woman named Marlene, Linda's sister. Little did they know, this simple introduction was the first page of a story that would span more than half a century. A few months later, in November, Ray, being the enterprising young man he was, organized a coach trip to Cardiff for a youth club football match. He decided to take a chance and asked Marlene if she'd like to go. She said yes, and so, on the 9th of November 1969, they embarked on their very first trip together. That coach journey wasn't just a trip to a football match. It was the beginning of their journey as a couple. Over the next 4.5 years, their love blossomed. Now, here's a little secret for you all. Ray admits he couldn't quite remember Marlene's name for the first 6 months. But that didn't stop their connection from growing stronger every day. It just goes to show that love finds a way, even when your memory is a bit foggy. Fast forward to a very special day, the 23rd of June, 1974. It was Marlene's birthday, and it was also their wedding day. They stood together under a beautiful canopy at the Catford and Bromley Synagogue, promising to build a life together. The celebration continued with a reception in the synagogue hall, filled with the laughter and joy of their friends and family. Their honeymoon was a classic British adventure. It began with a romantic overnight stay at the Tower Hotel in London, right on the banks of the River Thames, with the iconic Tower Bridge as their backdrop. The next morning, Monday the 24th, they set off from Waterloo Station, heading for the coastal town of Weymouth. From there, they boarded a sea-link ferry, sailing across the channel to the charming island of Guernsey. They arrived in St. Peter Port and checked into the Combles Hotel on Queen Street. For 13 wonderful days, they explored the island, soaked in the sea air, and simply enjoyed being newlyweds. It was the perfect start to their married life. After their island escape, they returned to England to begin their new chapter in their very first home, in New Addington, Croydon, Surrey. The next 11 years were a whirlwind of building a life and a family. They settled into their home, and their world was made complete with the arrival of their 2 wonderful daughters, Anna and Cassie. Their house became a home, filled with the pitter-patter of tiny feet and the sounds of a growing family. But Ray and Marlene were dreamers, and they had a big one. They decided to take a leap of faith and chase their ambition of owning their own hotel. Their dream led them to the beautiful English Riviera, where they purchased the Sun Court Hotel in Torquay. For the next 5 years, they poured their hearts and souls into the business, working side by side to build a successful and welcoming hotel. It was a time of hard work, long hours, but incredible rewards. After their successful venture in the hotel business, it was time for a change. They moved to a new home in Crown Hill Park. But these two couldn't sit still for long. Marlene, with her talent in the kitchen, became the head chef and later the assistant manager at the popular Hop and Grapes pub in Torquay. Meanwhile, Ray transitioned into the catering equipment trade. First as an engineer and then, with his entrepreneurial spirit, he set up his own successful company. In 1993, they found their forever home on Togmouth Road, a place they still live in to this very day. This home became the heart of their family, the backdrop for countless memories, and their family continued to grow. During this time, they were blessed with the arrival of their 2 grandsons, Matthew and Oscar, bringing a new generation of joy into their lives. But the story of their shared business ventures wasn't over yet. In 2012, they decided to go into business together one more time. They purchased the Singing Kettle Tea Room in Torquay, a charming and beloved local spot. For 7 successful years, they served up tea, cake, and warm hospitality, becoming a cherished part of the community. After 7 years of building another thriving business, they finally sold the tea rooms and decided it was time to embrace a well-deserved retirement. And that brings us to this year, 2024. To celebrate their golden wedding anniversary, 50 incredible years of marriage, they decided to return to where their honeymoon began, the beautiful island of Guernsey. This time, they stayed at the La Roquette's Hotel, which, as fate would have it, is just around the corner from where they stayed all those years ago. Driven by nostalgia, they went to find the old Combles Hotel. They discovered it had been lovingly returned to a private residence. Standing there, they reflected on how much had changed. Just like the hotel, St. Peter Port had moved with the times. Updated and modernized, yet still holding on to its essential charm. It was a poignant moment, a perfect metaphor for their own journey of love that has grown, adapted, and flourished over 5 decades. From a youth club meeting to a golden anniversary, Ray and Marlene's story is a beautiful testament to love, partnership, and building a life together. Their journey continues, filled with the promise of more adventures, more laughter, and more love. So here's to the future, and we wish them all the very best. Thank you so much for joining us to hear this incredible story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories. We'll see you in the next one.